All right, here we go. This 3D model is a model of the 1927 Colt Detective Special revolver. It was created by a guy called VIP Visitor, I believe, and is available from Colts.com. It's a fairly nice rendition of the actual revolver, and it isn't, at least I don't think, a scan made from a reference object, but rather a 3D sculpted or CAD drawn model. The surfaces are quite smooth. Let's have a look. And not wrinkled like a poor quality 3D scan. So it's a fairly sharp print, and I was very pleased with this when it came off my FDM printer. It's not a resin print, by the way, I should add, although I know some people saw how smooth this was and naturally thought that it was a resin print. It isn't. It's not a particularly complicated kit, as you can see from the amount of parts here, though it's not mechanically accurate, as what mechanism there is just there to simulate the movement of the hammer and the trigger and the cylinder gate here. So it's not a true replica or simulation of a real revolver. It's just a passable likeness that will make a very nice or attractive display piece. Now, the one niggle I have is not so much to do with the model, but and its quality, but rather the quality of the PLA filament that I used to print this. I didn't use my usual Flashforge brand PLA, but rather a cheaper one, Newly, I think it was called. It's not a name that I'm very familiar with, and I'm probably butchering it, but it looks like it's pronounced Newly. And although it looks very nice when printed, it's this lovely matte grey, it's kind of brittle in composition, and the fine parts tended to snap off without too much force, as you can see here on the cylinder gate, where this little part here just snapped off without too much force whatsoever. So I'll have to be extra careful when doing my cleanup, particularly with some of the very small parts inside this mechanism. I don't want anything else snapping off. As to the cleanup itself, there wasn't too much to actually clean up. The supports came away very cleanly, and there's only a couple of faults in the parts, so sanding will probably be quite minimal. There were two slightly damaged areas where I either will have to resort to some sort of filling or sanding or ironing with my hot tool. But these are fairly easy jobs to sort out, and it's the kind of thing that I get a lot of pleasure of when finishing off these 3D models, trying to make them as good as I can get. You can see there's a crack here, which is quite nasty, and I believe that's created because of the parts on the inside. And if you look inside here, that doesn't look too good either, but again, that'll be easy to kind of smooth out. Of course, when you're printing 3D FDM print, not everything is going to turn out as well as you want. In fact, it's a bit of a puzzle to orientate your print for printing in such a way that the parts you're most concerned with print out as well as you can. And obviously I wanted these flat surfaces to print out very nicely, but of course that meant something had to give, and in this particular case you can see down the back strap of the frame here, that's not too nice, but again, that'll be simply dealt with some judicious sanding. One of the main ways that I'll actually be cleaning this up is using my little hot tool here. This is probably the easiest way to describe this. Is it's almost like a soldering iron. I don't think it comes up to the same temperatures that a soldering iron does, but it gets quite hot. And what this will do with this like little iron shape plate at the bottom here, you can see with the light on that it's heated up nicely. And what you can do is just slowly stroke the surfaces that you want to repair, and it will melt them slightly, making it easier for you to get a nice finish. You just gently stroke these just so there's a little bit of a surface melt, and you just keep doing this. As I say, it's not a terribly high temperature tool. In fact, what I'd probably like to do is see in the future if there's a a more slightly better version of this. This was a cheap Amazon tool that I got, and you can't vary the temperature. You can see what power it is down here. It's not an exceptionally high powered heating tool, so you have to spend some time just gently smoothing away there. You can probably see how this area is slowly starting to come right. There we go, like that. And if you're very careful, and it does take a little bit of practice, you can get a nicely smoothed out surface. So I'll have to take some time to do that, and that's how I'll probably deal with that inside section there, though this crack will probably have to be filled with some sort of filler putty. Anyway, once I've done all this sanding and whatever, I'm fairly happy that all the main components will be ready to prime, whether I just use a straight priming paint or a priming putty, depending on whether I can clean up these areas nicely. If there's still a little bit rough, that's when I'll resort to using the primer putty. And once I've actually painted all these particular basic components, I'll then turn my attention to the last two parts, which I haven't printed yet, which of course will be the wooden grips. These grips were originally wood with some checkering, and I decided that the set of grips that I'd recently made for my Blade Runner blaster had turned out so well that I would repeat the process of using a wood effect PLA by a company called Insumate to print these Colt grips. This filament is a fake wood or a wood particle PLA filament, and when it's printed, it resembles wood fairly well. The checkering on the original grips, sadly, would not be included in the 3D model, as these can be quite difficult to recreate. For my previous 3D printed revolver, I had in fact sourced a set of wooden replica grips, but this is costly. I think they came in at about £60, and I had to order them from Thailand. So I decided that I would make do with just some plain unadorned grips this time. So that's it. We're at the stage now where we can start doing some of this cleaning up and finishing, and then we'll move on to a test assembly. There are some small springs which I have to source to make this trigger function. Well, I say function, it simulates the function of the trigger and the hammer working. So I'll have to get them, but aside from that, it's just down to using the hot tool and some sanding, and where I have to some filler to finish this basic model off, and then we'll move on to the painting stage. So that's where we are at the moment. Hopefully you'll enjoy watching this come together. Okay, just a little bit of a geeky postscript to this first part of the build, and that was my misconception that this particular revolver was, in fact, might have been based on a 32 caliber version of this detective special. Now, I don't actually think, in retrospect, that the differences in calibers, whether it's 32 or the more common 38 special, make any difference to the dimensions of the particular revolver. I think the frame, the way they work, is set, and just the caliber is changed within the cylinder, of course, and the barrel. So whether it was 32 or 38, it's a small revolver. I just happened to think that because it looked so small, I thought it must be a smaller caliber, maybe a 32. But I don't think it is. And the reason I know this is, if I just take the cylinder out of this and one of the dummy shells, if I can get one of the dummy shells, unfortunately you can't eject the shells in this. It's a non-working, non-simulated model, and it would be nice to use the star ejector here to eject the shells, but you can't, unfortunately. So here's the fake shells that you get with this particular model, and I thought, oh, they look really small. Are these 32 caliber? But The proof is in the pudding, as they always say. So let's do a quick measurement here. And this is very rough. It's not 9. That's 9mm. Now, that is not 32 caliber. 38 special caliber is designated metrically as 9 by 29.5. So this is actually a 38 caliber prop bullet, not a 32. Again, just one of those little geeky asides that keeps me awake at night, which just shows what quite a sad life I have. Let's just pop this back in. And here, and close up the cylinder. And there we go. So, this is the 38 Special Colt 1927 detective special, not a 32.